Hey guys, I'm Elle and today I'm going to recommend some underrated books. So the books I chose to recommend you today are books that I haven't seen anywhere or I've seen just in one or two videos, are also books that don't have a lot of reviews on Goodreads, and basically books I believe deserve more recognition, especially because almost all of them have characters that are minorities, that have a lot of different cultures and sexualities. The first book I want to talk about today is 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate. This book is told from 7 perspectives. Each one represents a different deadly sin, and also each one has a different secret. When a rumor of a teacher and student affair starts to go around, their lives will collide. I believe the representation in this book is its strong point. You have people calling out slut-shaming and dick pics, you have a pansexual and an asexual character, you have characters with mental illnesses, characters that have a lot of prejudice against other people. I mean, this one is not the best written book ever, but once you get used to the writing and you get used to reading from so many different perspectives, it's really good, especially if you're looking for a new way of making contemporaries. If you're looking for a good poetry book, I recommend I Wrote This For You by Please Find This. It's very original and I think you will love it. It basically tells the story of a relationship from start to end with poetry, and it also combines it with pictures, and they work perfectly together. Some of the poems here are some of the best poems I've ever read. It did get really cheesy at some points, but other than that, it's very stunning and thoughtful. If you're looking for a contemporary that has that feeling of reading like super cute summery contemporary but that has representative character, you might like Tell Me Again How a Crush Should Feel by Sarah Farisan. This tells the story of a Persian lesbian high school student that has her first crush and she's struggling with confusing signals from this girl, so she starts to confide in her old friend, and also she wants to understand herself a lot better. This is a brilliant portrayal of not only homosexuality but also gender identity, stereotypes, sexism and racism. It's at the same time important and a light read. There is a lot of drama, but at the same time it's incredibly funny. I really want people to understand how important it is to have a biracial lesbian girl as the main character and how important it is that we read it. And then I have here a book that I've seen in a lot of hauls but I haven't seen a lot of people reading it, and that is The Secret Lies of Minot Bly by Stephanie Oakes. This is about a girl who was part of a cult, and when she rebels they take away her hand. Now that prophet has been murdered and she ends up in a juvenile detention. If you want a new adult book that is beautifully written and has a brilliant plot, you might want to try Bad Romeo by Lisa Raven. It's about a couple that met in acting school and they had a relationship but they broke up because the guy broke the girl's heart. Now they meet again because they are both cast in the same play. This is an amazing romance book, especially because it's incredibly realistic. Apart from being super funny, the dynamics between the characters was full of honesty, especially because their relationship is not easy and we see them do the hard work, which we normally don't see a lot in romance books. You know, people fighting for the little things and not for a big thing that break them apart. Another book that I've seen in a lot of people's hauls but I haven't seen a lot of people reading it is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey. This is a retelling of Aladdin told from the genie's point of view, where the genie is a girl with a long story behind her. The writing in this one is absolutely gorgeous. The author has the ability to take you wherever the narrator wants you to go. Apart from that, the retelling aspect of it is very original and it's not focused on the romance at all. Actually, the girls dominate in this book and their friendship is definitely the best part. Another book that I want to recommend you is Tipsy Girl by Kathleen James. This reads almost like a soap opera, full of drama and adventures. This tells the story of a family of gypsies that goes to a town to celebrate a girl's marriage. Her little sister is a fighter to help to pay for the ceremony, but everything goes wrong when she meets this boy that is not a gypsy, and even though she knows it's wrong, she starts to get close to him. especially because he's part of a family that wants to throw the gypsies out of that town. I don't know about you, but I haven't read a lot of books about gypsies, especially not in the UK. The racism they encounter every day is horrible, but also their culture is super rich and beautiful and so interesting. It's amazing to have a main character that likes makeup and likes the girly things, but that also is a badass that just wants to defend her family. Apart from that, this book discusses feminism and it discusses racism, so I think it's a very important read. The final book that I want to recommend is Changing Places by David Lodge. This takes place in the end of the 60s and the beginning of the 70s, and it's about two professors who exchange places, one that lives in the US and one that lives in the UK. So they have to adapt to new lifestyles. The writing and structure of this book is super interesting, but also very weird. It brings so many thought-provoking topics, like the hippie movement, women's liberation, and the dichotomy of living in the USA in a time of war and living in a small town in the UK. This is also an incredibly funny book that has a lot of controversial scenes. Anyways, those are my recommendations for underrated books. Bear in mind that I gave all of these books 4 or more stars, so in my opinion they are all really good books. Hope you pick up some of these books to read and hope you like this. If you subscribe, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!